this point in time, I'm going to be bringing in my brother, my friend, my Egmo, my buddy. You know, he's been there. I mean, he's been there on days that I needed to just go and complain, days I almost needed to cry, the days he's been there several times for me, in times, and there's never been a day that I asked him to show up for anything that he didn't show up. It is my honor and my privilege to welcome and introduce to some, present to others, all right, Tonye Patrick Cole. Let me, and you know you're going to dance, so I've told you you're going to dance, so you have to dance, so. All right, bro. I told you I'm going to dance.
Let me take my ID card off. I forget that I'm a student. I can't hear a thing.
No, we cannot start until we see you rocking it.
We have to rock it. I can't hear the music. Oh, yeah. So you took this.
Oh my God, this thing is freezing. I don't know why.
It's good on my end. Can you hear me?
Thank you, bro. Amazing. It is. Can you hear me?
Lovely.
Can you hear me clearly?
Very well.
Okay. Well, it seems like you're freezing. Do are you able to toggle between internet service providers to see if there's it's a Wi-Fi, or maybe you can use your other service provider?
It's not from me. I'm in school. Okay. I'm in Oxford, so I don't know.
Yeah, fantastic. You're always in school. I've never seen somebody that like knowledge like you. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome once again to Lead with FD, Tonye Cole.
Push it.
All right, fantastic. Look, you know what? It is such an honor to have you, my brother. And I said something at the top of this program today. I said, I have never invited you to a thing and you said no. And I don't know many people that are busier than you, but there's a way that you always find time. And I'm very honored to be one of the people you make time for. I know your time is so precious. When I called you earlier, it was clear to me that you were in a class or you were doing something, but you always make time. And I don't take that for granted. I'm grateful. Thank you, bro. Thank you so much. Thank you.
All good.
Let me introduce you by your profile, and then we would talk about your leadership journey. And I always have the leading question that I like to start with. So let me start by saying, Tonye Patrick Cole is the co-founder of and former group executive director of Sahara Group, an energy conglomerate with operations spanning the entire energy chain in Nigeria and neighboring West African countries, all through to East Africa and beyond. The Sahara Group operates in 38 countries all around the world with over 4,000 employees and an annual turnover of about $11 billion. Tonye Cole was responsible directly for building the group's global expansion and upholding her corporate governance principles, maintaining her status with global institutions like the World Economic Forum, where he was a key member of the Partnering Against Corruption Initiative, also connecting with the United Nations, where he was a pioneer member of the advisory group of the private sector advisory group for the UNDP Sustainable Development Group Fund, as well as the African Philanthropy Forum, amongst many others. In addition to founding and running one of Nigeria's largest energy conglomerates, Tonye Cole also spearheaded and developed work carried out by the Sahara Foundation globally. He continues working to inspire the youth of Africa through charities such as his NGO, Nehemiah Youth Empowerment Initiative, which aims to influence change in Africa by bringing together young and emerging leaders to develop and implement practical strategies that will produce positive outcomes for millions, and more recently, the Behavioral Health Institute, BHI, that he set up for the study and management of behavioral health issues, especially amongst youth in Nigeria. In addition to all of this, he works very closely with a number of foundations in Nigeria, including the Down Syndrome Foundation, Slum-2-School Foundation, the Compassionate Center, and various, many orphanages. He has served as a board member on Atlas Mara, Bloomberg TV Enactus Nigeria, Nigeria Chambers of Shipping and Digital Jewels, amongst many of the board memberships that he holds. He's also a member of the Private Sector Advisory Group of the United Nations Sustainable Development Fund, and he was recently appointed to the World Bank Group Expert Advisory Council on Citizen Engagement. In September 2018, Tonye made a decision to pursue a career in politics. We're going to be talking about that. He formally resigned from all board memberships and his executive roles held in Sahara Group, as well as his board positions elsewhere, to contest for the gubernatorial seat in his home state of Rivers. Tonye Cole worked hard to catapult his career from architect to executive director of Sahara Group, but his true passion lies in encouraging young Africans. Life is like a jigsaw puzzle, Tonye says. You see the picture, you know what it's meant to look like, and from there you start putting the pieces together. As far as Tonye is concerned, if you are patient and diligent, you will actualize that picture. The good thing about Nigeria is that every piece of the puzzle is there. Maybe in the wrong place, but it's there. You just have to understand what you want and put the pieces together. That's such an amazing quote. Tonye, it is such a pleasure to have you. Great pleasure to have you here.
Hey, bro.
Right?
Bye.
That's such an inspiring profile. I mean, it's always a joy to read your profile if I ever have to introduce you. What I would love to do is to hear the Tonye Cole story, because you know, a lot of times people can see the glory, but they don't know the story behind it. I mean, I've had the privilege of hearing you several times, even in Gemstone, tell us the story of how, when you started and how you guys started and all the things that you know, all the journey that you went through. But before you tell us your story, there is a standard #1 leading question that I always ask every guest, and that is, what is your definition of leadership? How would you define leadership?
Okay, so I would always say, first of all, that leadership begins first with yourself. If you cannot lead yourself, you cannot lead anybody at all.
Wow.
So leadership is holding yourself accountable for the gifts and talents that you have been blessed with, and then serving it to others. It is what you have in you that then improves the lot of everyone else. And only after you've led yourself can you lead others. So for me, leadership is about service. It's about understanding yourself. It's about holding yourself accountable and then pushing it out.
Oh, wow. I love that. And guys, you know how we love to do it on Lead with FD. Every time you hear something that is really, really inspiring for you, please put it out there. Please put, you know, let's fill the comment section with the lessons, the learnings, the keys, the principles, whatever it is that we can learn from. You know, I want you to please put it out there. Anybody that is reading the comments should literally just be able to hear what Tonye has said, even especially if they scroll through. So leadership is about service, but to be able to serve, you must first understand that it starts with you, because you are the one that must serve, and to be able to serve, it starts with you holding yourself accountable and serving others. And I love that. How did your leadership journey start? And I always like to know this. When did you know that you were a leader? Was there a time in your life that you came to this understanding? Wow, I'm a leader, and my responsibility is to do this and to do that. Tell us a bit about your leadership journey.
You know, it's a funny thing. I believe that when it first dawned on me that I had to kind of lead anything at all, must have been in university. And I had come through some life-changing impact, whereby I had first of all started university first as a Christian, born again, and all of that, and then I had a huge disappointment. Now, in this huge disappointment, Fela, I just walked away. I walked away, and I went into what, as in Christianese, we will say, I went into the world, and I'm kind of, I'm kind of.
You don't want to tell us what the disappointment was. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. But it was long and short of it. It was a relationship thing with people within Christendom that just broke my heart. And when it broke my heart, it was almost as if there was a lie within the truth, and I just didn't like it. So, and I'm kind of extreme. When I put my mind to something, I do it. If I say this is what I want to do, then I do. And so, as a born again Christian at 16, right, I was in full 100%. So when that happened to me, it kind of broke my heart. And my brother, I just went the other way.
You went to Egypt.
I went to Egypt. But in Egypt, because again, when you do something, it's about skills. It's about what you bring and the passion you bring into something. And here I was in Egypt. I'm bringing passion into it. And I joined a club in school called Foods Club. And Foods, at the end of the day, I remember them coming to me, come and join Foods. And but anyway, I joined. And when I joined, again, when you take something and you push it, everybody will see what you can do. I was appointed president of Foods Club. And it became my responsibility to carry my peers, my young peers in school, and push them at the top of, we are talking about clubs now in school, but you are also competing against other clubs. You are competing against people within the school in leadership, in dealing with ideas as to what a club should do. And so I was appointed chief first year. Now, most people, as chief of a club or president of a club, you do 1 year, you do a 1 year term, and that's it. First year, I was chief. Second year, I was chief. Third year, 3 years. 3 years of chief. But what you saw there,
Can I throw something in?
Yes.
And I'm not sure whether that was what you were going to ask, what you were going to lead with it. What did you think that they found in you? What do you think they saw in you? And what was it that it seemed like, that they saw that caused them to say, no, this is not the 1 year tenure? What were the things you thought they saw in you?
Okay, so there's one thing that I've seen in life, Fela. Not a lot of people like to take responsibility, and you must be ready to take the responsibility which comes with work. So when you take responsibility of leadership, essentially what you are doing is that you are putting yourself out there. It means that you're going to work harder than others. Now, remember, I was doing architecture, and I was doing architecture at a time. Architecture is tough.
Yeah, of course.
When anybody goes into architecture, they do 6 + N years, because as soon as you start architecture, almost automatically an extra year is following, plus an extra year and an extra year and an extra year. So I'm doing 6 + N years. Now I must finish in 6 years, because as far as I'm concerned, again, if I put my mind to something, then I want to work within that time frame. So I have to finish architecture in 6 years. At the same time, I'm dealing with a club presidency. So we're doing parties, we're organizing all sorts of things. Now, Fela, for you to be able to do all of that, you must have the ability to delegate. You must have the ability to lead. You must have the ability to plan. You must know when to play and when to read. You must know when you are going out. And, do you understand? I remember graduating in 6 years, Fela. On the day of my graduation, my schoolmates were telling me to go and drop my gown. That is not possible that you have graduated. Do you understand? They were like, it cannot be possible that you have graduated. And why is that? Because to some, what they saw was this person who was a club person, was running chief of a club and all of that. And they just knew that anybody who was in a club, it's nearly impossible that you are going to graduate within the time frame and all of that. But guess what? I got in. There were 100 of us that entered school studying architecture. By the time we graduated, there were maybe 15 of us that finished in 6 years. So, and those are leadership traits that you will not find. It does not come. It takes work. It's hard work to do it. but you just know how to schedule your time and know what you're doing.
And so from school, how then did your leadership journey go?
Okay. So by the time I was leaving school, I think one of the things that I had kind of made up my mind about when I was finishing school was that I was out. Once I finished school, there were three things I said that I wasn't going to do. The first one I backtracked on it. One, I said that I was never ever going into any university again. I was done. I wasn't going to do a master's. I wasn't going to do anything. Now I'm sitting in Oxford University. But anyway.
Never say never.
Never say never. But for me, it was done. So I needed to just focus on life, which meant that my focus was on succeeding in life after university. So university was done. That era for me was in the past. So I could focus on what the next thing was. So that was one. The second aspect of it was that I was leaving home. I was done. I'm not staying in my father's house one day more and all of that. Okay, I ended up spending maybe another year, but but for me, it was that this is it. I'm going.
This is my freedom.
That's it.
I'm going. I'm off.
I'm gone. I'm gone. I
couldn't fly away.
I really could not take it anymore. So I was going. So for me, that mindset of going out and staying on your own meant that you had to take decisions in life about how you are going to live, how you are going to survive, and all of that. So that was number two. Then number three was that I knew that I was setting up my own business. So I had actually set up my business. I had set up a company with two of my other partners in architecture before I left school. Now that's another story. So before I left school, I decided that this was what I was going to do and all of that. That did not quite work out. But again, what I'm saying is that it's the mindset of what you had decided to do by the time you were leaving. And so for me, I kind of knew that it was gone. So those were leadership journeys that were taken. An independent mindset, knowing that this is what you want to do. A focus saying that you are not going to be dependent on anybody else, but that you are going to make your way and all of that. So it was hard. Starting was hard, but no regrets at all.
Oh, wow. Now, it's very interesting. This, we see many partnerships start in Africa. Now, I won't just say Nigeria, but most of them do not succeed for a long time. Right. We have a few that you see in the law, in some of the professional services, but very rarely do you see partnerships last for long. That those that that you see that succeed and last, you can almost literally count them on your fingers. And Sahara is one of the poster examples, the role model examples for young guys who started a business together, succeeded together, and stayed together. And so I'd like to hear a bit of the Sahara story, but more from the point of view of what is the thing that you think has led to Sahara's ability to keep its core founders together and to help the group succeed greatly.
Okay, and those are great questions because one of the things that we always hear is that partnerships are difficult to maintain. And I've seen older people, much older people, tell me the same thing, that look, what you have is really unique. But it's a model that I would advocate all the time, Fela, because it's part of the reason why we have been able to grow the way we've grown. And it's also part of the reason why I can focus on politics today the way that I focus on. Because you know that what you built is secure. Others are going to run it and they'll run it well. But what are the key ingredients that we have taken in Sahara when we joined, and what has kept us going? And I will probably touch on three very quick things. The first aspect of it was that money was not the issue. Money will always divide partnerships. Money will always divide partnerships. So do not allow money to be the central core of why you have come to be partners. It will divide you. So the first 3 years of Sahara, we did not touch one kobo from the business, not one. It did not come to us. Everything went straight back into the business and everything was used for the business. It meant that we all had to live on whatever we had from wherever. which meant that for most times, anybody who knows me in Port Harcourt when we first started, they would know that my my standard meal when I started was bread, Coke, granite, and banana. That was what
people need to hear that. One of the things you told me a few years ago was how ticket. See what?
No, ticket.
You would drive from Lagos to Port Harcourt.
Yes, absolutely. No, but it's true. So essentially, disciplining yourself to live within your means, but at the same time, you had a business that was paying thousands, hundreds of thousands to keep that business going. So the ticket example, for example, we would be paying tickets for people who were going to purchase allocations or whatever from. They will buy a ticket, they will go everywhere and all of that. Me, I was driving from Port Harcourt down, up and down, so I knew the roads well, driving up and down. But this was the life that we were living. Why was that the case? And that goes to the second one. So money is the first one. That goes to the second one. And the second one was that the business itself had to be bigger than the individual. So we put Sahara as the business. It was out there. Fela, for the first 5 years of Sahara, nobody knew that we were the ones that were the owners. We were staff, end of story, staff. We went in as staff. We didn't go in as CEO, partner, this, that, and all of that. Why? The idea was that the brand needed to speak for itself. If I ask you, who set up Coca-Cola, you don't know. You don't know. If I ask, do you understand? So there are many brands that we live with. There are brands that we take. There are brands that we are okay with. I don't know who set up Samsung. We have no idea who set up Sony. We don't know, apart from the ones that they have names that you can. The other day I found out that Mercedes was not, the name of Mercedes was the daughter of the Mercedes that was named after. Do you understand? You have no idea who set them up. As long as the brand had quality and it delivered what it was doing. And so it was important that we built the brand and kept ourselves behind. And so we stayed behind.
Somebody's asking which year, when did Sahara, the
1996.
Sahara group start?
1996. 1996.
Yes, of course, yes. I know.
Yeah, 1996. And so the second thing was make sure that you build the brand. The brand had to be there. Now, the third aspect of it in partnership is that all three of us are different. We have different characteristics, and those characteristics come together to form the whole. So do not be, this is my best friend, we grew up together, everything, we are tight, we think alike, we do alike, so we must form business together. No. No, most times that thing fails. Fine.
No, because in the end, when I see people, you know how it is. People love to go into business with people that they love to hang out with, and people love to hang out with people who typically like the same things as they like, and who are almost like the way that they are. And so in the end, you find out that two people who are pretty much the same have the same strengths, and then they go into partnership, and then their weaknesses are exposed to the competition and to the world. Yeah. And so if it's that all of them are very marketing oriented, who's going to deliver on the promise that you make to the customer? You know what I mean? So it's
absolutely. Absolutely.
And I know that you Ade and Tokwe, I mean, both, can you tell us a little bit about what each of you had or brought to the brand as strengths? Or to the partnership as strengths.
No, beautiful. All right. So Ade is the most interesting character that I've ever met in my life. Interesting. Why is he interesting? This is a human being, and I'm not kidding you, fella. This is a human being, right, that will buy a phone, the same phone that all of us, he will buy this phone. Before he opens the phone from the packet, the first thing he will take is that he will take the manual. He will sit down with the manual, underline all the functions, know what the phone does first, and then he will start on the phone. He will spend the phone for 2 weeks, 3 weeks. He will be going back and forth before he uses the phone. And then he uses the phone for the function. Now,
Absolutely.
this is a man of detail. So when it comes to detailing anything, if we have a contract, if you send a contract to us and you go and hide inside the contract one clause somewhere that is meant to catch us, and then we catch it, he will find that clause. Why? Because he will sit down and he will underline and he will write and he will query the entire thing. Now, from a business, so for those who go and are in the business of business development, you are doing deals. Deals move fast. You want ideas to move fast, and somebody is sitting down and underlining and querying and all of that. So there's a problem there. But you have to understand that that is your security. That's your security net. Tope, on the other hand, Tope is the kind of person who will push anything. So Tope is that today must work. Today must work. It doesn't matter what you do. Today
the bulldozer.
must work. Bulldozer. He will bulldoze everything. It must work today, which means that you can be sure that your meal for today is going to be there because he is going to make today work. My own responsibility is for tomorrow, is to ensure that the long term, is to ensure that we have a long-term plan, we have a target, this is where we are going, and all of that. Tope will say to you that it is good to have the long-term plan, but if you don't survive today, you will not get there tomorrow. And I will say that that's fine. But if you survive today and you don't have a long-term plan, you will derail. So either way, we must get there. So
amazing.
But that's,
so one thing
we started.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing you say is you guys, you came to a point where you were able to not only realize everyone's strength as different as they are, but I think what I'm hearing you say more than anything is that you respected each other's strengths.
Oh, you have to. Hey, Fela, you have to. You must, because each person's strength comes in at a particular time. Okay, there are times when it is necessary to plan. So there are times when you go into a low season, right? Like COVID just happened. That's a low season. That's a season when very little is happening. That is the time when the planners come in. Those are the people that now start thinking. They can analyze and say that this is what you need to do, change. This is how you need to move. This thing is going to end. When it ends, this is what would happen, and all of those things. At that point, it comes out. Then you come out of COVID, and everybody is running helter-skelter. Everybody wants to move. Then you need the bulldozers to just bulldoze the entire thing and all of that. Do you understand?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Hey guys, listen, if you guys are listening and you're loving this, come on guys, send some love, send some hearts, put it out there what you're getting tonight. Let me know how you're feeling with all of this. And then of course, please go ahead and remember to share so that you can let all the other people that are connected to you know that something is happening here. And Tonye Cole is in the house. He's shaking the tables. He's recalibrating leadership for us. One other interesting thing that somebody else had put out there, I'm going to put it within the context of another question, is how do you handle trust? And I'm going to say that I want you to talk to me about trust and ego. Because if you've got three people who, appreciate and respect each other, yet how then does leadership evolve without having three heads? I mean, they say three heads are better than one, but isn't that three heads that fit together? I mean, tell me about the challenges of managing ego and trust in relationships, in partnerships, especially.
Okay. So let me start from ego, because ego is probably something that comes up a lot. Who is the boss? Who is the one who is starting? Whose idea is it? I'm the one that set up this company. I'm the one that must take the decisions. That's where ego comes up from, and all of that. So we resolve ego in three ways. The first thing that we did to resolve ego was that we spread equity across board equally. Okay, so I don't have more than you, you don't have more than me. Everybody is exactly on the same level. That's the first way. Now, this works for